Hey guys, my name is Lexie Smith. I'm a three-time founder, CEO, seasoned publicist and marketer, and your host of the Pitchin and Sippin podcast. This show will give you a front row seat to conversations with top-tier journalists, leading PR pros and marketers, and inspiring brands and entrepreneurs on the rise. I deeply believe that knowledge is power and that learning can actually be fun. So for those who need to craft pitches regularly, whether to reach an audience, land a client, earn media coverage, bylines, and beyond, listen up, take a sip, and get ready for a goldmine of invaluable tips. Jessica Booth is a freelance writer, former editor, and a commerce writer for leading global media company BDG. She has written for a wide variety of outlets, including Refinery 29, Bustle, Elite Daily, Parents, Brides, What to Expect, The Knot, People, The Bump, Review, The Daily Beast, Forbes, Insider, Cosmopolitan. Man, I'm running out of breath. So many more. Food and wine. Jessica covers tons of different topics, but specializes in parenting and commerce writing. Jessica, welcome officially to the show. I always love to kick it off with, where is home base?
Hi, I am in Long Island in New York.
You are in Long Island. I don't
Yeah.
know what this means for me, but two of my recent clients live in Long Island. I was on a networking call yesterday with someone in Long Island, and now we are on this podcast, and you live in Long Island. So I'm like, am I supposed to be traveling to Long Island? Is this in my future? Because I've never actually been.
Oh, yeah, it's really nice.
So when you're not writing for all the places, what do you like to do outside of work for fun?
Well, I have 2 little kids, so, just kind of running after them and taking care of them and doing, fun things with them, and I love to, spend a lot of time outside. So I'm only 10 minutes from the beach, so I go to the beach as much as possible. And then just, like, spending time with family, trying to go on trips whenever I can, things like that. Nothing too
How old,
exciting.
how old are the kids?
5 and 2.5.
Okay, I have a 2 and 4-month-old, so I'm
Okay.
right there with you, and
Yeah.
my husband's out of work this week, so I, like, quote, unquote, "single parenting," and she is being extra 2 this week, so I'm extra tired, if
Yeah.
anyone on camera. That's a fun spread. We do want another one, so it might end up being that spread. Are they girls or boys?
2 girls.
2 girls. I have a
Yeah.
girl as well. So,
Aw.
hello girl, mom of a toddler.
Yeah.
Amazing. Okay, so let's dive straight into what I call career cliff notes. And basically just walk us through high level your journey leading up to today. You can honestly start wherever you want.
Okay. So I started out in media as an intern. I interned at a few different places. I think it was Redbook, uh, Us Weekly, and Hollywood Life. And that kind of set me up with a lot of connections. And then I got a full-time position at the site girl.com, which doesn't exist anymore, unfortunately, but it was a really fun site for teen girls. And I worked there as an editor for almost 8 years. So I started out as an editorial assistant. And then by the last few years, I was the editor in chief of the site. And then that company unfortunately went under. So I lost that job. And that's when I started freelance writing, which I did in about, like, I think it was 2017. So I've been freelance writing since then.
Okay, and how is the commerce role relatively new, or is that also freelance? No, that's
Um,
more part-time in-house, right?
yeah. So my commerce role at BDG is part time. And it's kind of still freelance, but I do have set hours that I work every week, so it's a little bit different. But before that, I was doing a lot of freelance commerce writing for the last few years. Since commerce writing started to become a little bit more popular, I would say like maybe 2019, 2020, around then when it started to pick up, I started doing a lot more commerce writing. And and I've had other part-time jobs at BDG before this one. I was a
Okay.
part-time lifestyles writer at Bustle at one point and a part-time lifestyles writer at Romper at one point.
Okay, so I'm excited to get into this a little bit more because I've had one I've had one in-house commerce reporter on the show from The Hollywood Reporter
Mhm.
and one who does more freelancing. But what I'm really interested in is the fact that you are commerce writer for BDG. And for those listening, let me tell you what that means. If that's like a new acronym, you're like, what does that mean? So it's a media conglomerate company, right? And I'm going to tell you some of their brands. They're as iconic as they come. We have Bustle, Elite Daily, The Zoe Report, Nylon, Inverse, Mick or Mike, W, Romper, Scary Mommy, Fatherly, and The Dad. I might have missed more, but I'm curious how how it exactly works when you're working for the parent company of BDG. Are you doing commerce across all those brands? Is it one or two? What does that look like?
So so BDG has like a dedicated commerce team, and then they may have other commerce writers for each specific site. I'm not sure, but the I work for the dedicated commerce team, so I write for a variety of their websites. Um, so I've written for a whole bunch of them for commerce, but I mainly focus on I think it's Bustle, Elite Daily, Scary Mommy, Mick, and or Mike. Actually, I think it's Mike and Inverse.
It is Mike. Mike?
Yeah.
Okay,
I think
I
it's
should
Mike.
know that. I'm like, "Oh, shoot." Usually I look up pronunciations before this, but that one threw me off for a second.
Yeah.
So, okay, interesting. Do you get, in your role, creative liberty to come up with your own commerce stories, or is it more based on assignment?
For BDG, it's all assignment,
Okay.
and same for, like, any other freelance commerce writing, it's mostly assignment.
Introducing the next big thing you should be sipping on, Sun Moon Rising, the world's first astrology-inspired wine brand. Proudly female founded, low intervention, and certified sustainable, Sun Moon Rising is on a mission to redefine the way you engage with wine, delivering a cosmic connection in every glass. They are offering all Pitchin and Sippin listeners 10% off their first purchase. Simply use promo code PITCHIN10, that's PITCHIN10, all caps, at checkout online at sunmoonrisingwine.com. We will put that in the show notes. Cheers! It's all assignment. Okay,
Mhm.
so you're not necessarily at, even for freelance, it sounds like at the stage where you're pitching to land. It's more, hey, we want to do, or correct me if I'm wrong, like a commerce roundup on this. Can you be our writer for it? Is that kind of how that cadence works from your editor?
Yeah, so any of the sites that I write commerce for, it's usually, like, I have, like, some kind of, relationship with them, so I usually write for them, like, once, maybe more every month, um, and it's all on assignment,
Okay,
and
great.
it all comes from their, like, commerce teams specifically.
Their commerce team. So you have the BDG commerce, but then there's some individual commerce teams per outlet.
Not at BDG. At BDG, I only work for their dedicated commerce team. For when I
Freelance.
freelance,
Fair.
yeah, yeah,
Thank you. And I know these sound like little nitty-gritty details, but on like the publicist side, or even if you're on the journalist side trying to navigate a career, these little nuances matter. And
yeah,
learning like who do you reach out to? Like what is the process? And it's something I really try to break down on this show, especially as we're, I mean, the media landscape right now and how newsrooms are changing and evolving, especially in the commerce space. It feels a little confusing sometimes. So back to BDG for a second, and I'm going to do my best to try to separate what I'm speaking to, freelance versus BDG. For assignment, who is assigning it to you? Is it a managing editor? Is it your commerce editor? Or what's that hierarchy?
I work with one editor, and she's like, I'm not sure what I honestly don't. I'm not sure of her exact title there, but she's like my editor that I work with and I talk to whenever I sign on.
Okay, great. And then follow up question to that, is she giving you the theme and you get to curate the products, or has she already curated the products?
For BDG, they've curated the products because they work with
Okay.
like very specific products on Amazon.
On Amazon. Okay, interesting. Are they only with Amazon affiliates?
I don't so what I do is all Amazon. I don't
Okay.
I'm pretty sure they do other affiliate programs like throughout the company and with each site, but I work with Amazon products.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
So it sounds like if a publicist or a brand came to you, and on the in-house side
Mhm.
and pitched you a product, it probably wouldn't be the right play because it's your editor who's, I guess, filtering through that decision and going back? Or is there still room for you to be like, hey, I came across this really cool brand, like, and pitch it up to your editor?
So I don't pitch at all for my commerce position at BDG, but I do like pitch to BDG outlets outside of that commerce position. So like I've written for example, for Elite Daily, with a different editor, not affiliate, like not associated with my commerce role. So for BDG, no, like if I get product pitches, I can't pitch them to my editor
Got it.
for that
Super helpful.
specific role. Yeah.
Got it.
Mhm.
Okay. So moving hat, and this can be more what you're doing today. It could be like general industry knowledge, what have you. I'd love to break down, the role and how a writer or journalist and editor might go about deciphering whether a given product or piece of commerce is worthy of a roundup versus a feature. And maybe if there are like indicators that, hey, this is a story on its own, verse, we're gonna throw this in, holiday gift guide 2024.
Mhm. So for just to like clarify, that would be all of my like freelance commerce writing, not my BDG commerce writing. Um so for me, a lot of the time it like for it to feature a product and to have like a whole like basically like a review of a product, it has to be something that's like very innovative, very new, like trendy, maybe something that's trending on social media. Um Something that's like very different or something that's really like so I do a lot of parenting commerce writing. So it would have to be something like very cool that would really make a parent's life more convenient and that's like kind of like worthy of that type of feature. But honestly, also it comes down to the outlet and like what kind of pitches I know they're interested in. It's actually kind of hard to pitch a review of just one product. A lot of sites, a lot of editors like aren't interested in those type of pitches. They're more interested in like the evergreen roundups. So a lot of the time it comes down to that. I've tried so many products that I'm like, I think this would be so great as like a feature. And it's just like I can't find anyone interested in it.
Yeah, it's hard. And of course, everyone wants the feature, right?
Yeah.
So, wouldn't we all? Everyone wants to be on the Taste Show. Everyone wants their face on the cover of Forbes. And if we could all just snap our fingers and make that happen, wouldn't
Yeah.
that be nice? Um, so let's talk a little bit more and zone in on the roundup side of things.
Mhm.
So, everyone listening, it is August 15th. Actually, today, season 7 launched. Yay, launch day. But you'll be listening to this in the future. Holiday gift guides is obviously a big topic, and I would assume for someone in your position, I'd love, I guess first, am I assuming wrong? Let's start there before I get ahead of myself here. Do you write holiday style roundups?
Yes, I do. I write a few every year, but it changes every year because it just depends what I get assigned. I haven't started any just yet.
That's where I'm headed here. So
Yeah.
I was curious, at least for you and your experience, at what point on the calendar that's getting assigned to you or on your radar.
I should probably start getting assignments for September for holiday gift guides, but honestly, sometimes I don't get anything until October. So, or even November. Um, so it really depends. Like last year, honestly, I didn't really write many gift guides at all. And then I've had years where I've written so many gift guides.
Yeah.
So it changes a lot.
And I guess to your point that you kind of clarified, at least on the BDG side, maybe it's if your editors are receiving pitches earlier, weeding through, they only need to, if I'm understanding, deliver to you when it's ready for final production, right?
Mhm.
So maybe they're getting pitches sooner. I know you've been an editor before as well. So
Yeah.
any
I
insight
mean,
there?
like I personally have been getting holiday gift guide pitches since June.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's like, I'm barely out of winter, now I need to think about Christmas. It's funny,
Yeah.
and this is a complete squirrel, but my mom was an art director for the catalog industry for 30 years, and I remember in June and July, they'd do, like, photo shoots with, like, big Christmas trees, and it was so confusing to me. I'm like, "It's June or July," and she's like,
Yeah.
"We're a print catalog, we have to get them now."
Yeah.
So, super, super helpful. Another kind of more general question. This is in line with features. And again, we kind of just touched on the fact that features, a feature story or writing about a single product is challenging and hard to come by. Do you think that from a strategy perspective, if someone, whether it be the brand reaching out or a publicist, offers the exclusive? So let me set the scene. Maybe it's the launch of something and they come to you and they're like, before we blitz the market and tell everyone, we want to give you an opportunity exclusively if you're interested. Is that something appealing to you? Does that have any merit in your world in commerce?
A little bit. Um, it might. It honestly, um, it's hard because I think that when a site or an outlet has like a dedicated commerce team, I think they do a lot of in-house analyzing of like affiliate links and SEO and like trending topics to decide like what's worth writing about. And I don't see that side of it as a freelancer. So that's why I feel like it's just hard to pitch commerce in general. But for like an exclusive like that, that might get their interest. That is just like something I don't often cover. So I don't know if I would be the best person for that. But yeah, that definitely would be like, if it were, again, it would have to be for a feature like that, would have to be like a very cool, innovative, like trendy sort of product.
Did you know that I send out a community newsletter roundup every Tuesday, chocked full of resources, media kit downloads, journalist contact information, event invites, visibility opportunities? Basically, if you're not on the list, hit pause and sign up. It is super simple. All you got to do is go to theprbarinc.com/newsworthy. That link is in the show notes too. Okay, back to the show. Yeah, totally, totally fair.
Mhm.
This is this is like the buzzword question of the world, right? But again, as we kind of have touched on your roles and you have these like two roles, I'm curious how AI has been impacting you, if any. And I think it's like super relevant to commerce. So just any of your thoughts, whatever direction or tone they lean towards here.
I don't think it's affected me directly. Honestly, I don't know. It makes me very nervous because like I could almost see it happening in the future. And I'm on a lot of like writers group on Facebook where everybody talks about it. So and like you'll see job postings for, writers who can help assist with AI technology and things like that. So it makes me nervous. It stresses me out a little bit.
Yeah,
Um, yeah.
fair enough. Fair enough.
Yeah.
I just know, especially when we think about like the product roundups, I've heard a lot of opinions on AI in that lane versus a human interest piece, and maybe where there's more threats than others. I still am of the camp that there's a place for it to help us do our job, but it's never going to be human. I always also joke that, I could be completely wrong here. And who knows, 10 years from now, our daughters are working alongside robots. I don't know. I hope that's not the case, but here we are. Maybe I'm in denial a little bit. Uh, so I want to switch a little bit. And I know that you, again, mostly operate on assignment, but I want to go into, if you are going to receive a pitch, what are some of your preferences? So I call this like a rapid fire preferential roundup. It's unique to you, Jessica, and what you prefer. So no right or wrong here. So if you're ready, we'll dive in.
Yeah. And just to let you know, I do work on assignment, but for every other outlet that I write for, I get to pick most of the products. So
Oh,
I still pitches are still really helpful for me because I still do like I'm still the one sourcing products for a lot of my freelance writing, just not for BDG. That's
Okay.
sourced for me.
We're going to
Yeah.
come back to Roundup for a second. Pin that.
Okay.
Pin that, Lexie. I want to go back. So that lane, we're going to zone into that lane of your world.
Okay.
Um, what in this is before we go to rapid fire, like what are you looking at? Is it really come down to what's trending, what's cool, what you like personally? Are you really looking for assets? Is it affiliate links? Like what are the things that are truly making the cut in your inbox?
When I'm sourcing products
Yeah.
from pitches. So, like, obviously, first it depends on what my assignment is. So it'll usually have usually has a very specific angle. And then from there, it depends on what outlet it's for. Some outlets have like a list of affiliate retailers that they work with, and that's where I have to source product from. Some prefer only to work with Amazon, or like Amazon's a priority, and then some don't care, and some it's like a mix. So it really depends on where I'm writing. And then for me to pick a product, I always prefer to pick products that I personally have used and have like personal experience with, just because it makes it so much easier to write about. And I just feel like I am able to get like more into detail with it. Um, but then otherwise, as long as it fits the theme of the post, I'm looking for just, you know, products that are like I always think like, would I actually want this? Like, would I actually spend money on this? Um, and I always so I definitely look through my inbox to see what I've been pitched. And I always have an idea of like the publicists that I work with the most, and like what brands they rep. And if so I always try to include products that I'm pitched. I also look at customer reviews for products before I include them in a post. So a lot of the time it's me like either Googling and searching for products, or searching through my email for product ideas, and then looking at them online, looking at customer reviews, seeing if they're covered on any other websites, like if anybody talks about them. Sometimes I source products just from like when I'm on TikTok or Instagram, things that I see being featured and that a lot of people are talking about. So there's a lot of different things that go into how I find, what's going to go into the post.
See, all of this is so intricate, which is why I love this show because it breaks it down on a granular level. And speaking of granular level, let's get into your granular preferences. Okay, we're going to unpin my rapid fire and now we're going to go into it. So, when you're being pitched, is there a day of the week you prefer to be pitched?
I don't think so. I will say that by Friday, um, I'm less likely to like look at all my emails right away. So usually the beginning of the week, I'm way more productive with getting through my emails.
Same, same.
Yeah.
Time of day.
Probably the morning. That's when I do the bulk of my work, is like earlier in the day.
How many assets do you want up front and what assets? And I can clarify that quickly, like photos, affiliate link. Do you want a press kit? Like what would your dream pitch entail when it first arrives in your inbox?
I love when a pitch like gets straight to the point and just like quickly explains like why the product is cool, what makes it stand out. Pictures are always really helpful. Links to the product page, if it's available, is helpful. If it's not out yet, or if it's under embargo, like a press kit is helpful. I don't need affiliate links right away, just because if some just because of the way that the writing works with the different outlets. So that's not necessary for me. But I always like a link to the product page. I don't even always need high res images like for me writing. It's good to have for me to like actually see the product that they're talking about.
Okay,
Yeah.
very cool. And then you mentioned products that you like ones you use. So do you want to receive product for consideration?
Yeah, I that's helpful, especially with some of the content I write, like especially with like some of the parenting commerce writing. But I usually don't request a product if I don't think that there's a chance I'm going to cover it.
It's very
So
nice of you.
yeah.
Not everyone does that. Um, cool. Okay. So pleasantries. I've gotten some big opinions on this, and you said people get straight to the point, but like, if you've never heard of them, do you appreciate a line or two, them kind of proving they've done their research, or like skip it, just literally straight to business? Give me the product.
I do appreciate that because it shows me that, the publicist knows who I am and I'm not just like another person they're emailing, whatever. But I don't need it because I get so many emails every day that like at a certain point I'm skimming through them really quickly
Yeah.
because I just have so many to read and I don't have the time to read them all completely. So I always just appreciate like right to the point.
And then are you okay with follow-ups?
Yeah, I am. I don't like follow-ups that come really quickly, like, I've gotten a lot where it's, like, the day after or, like, 48 hours after, and if it's not, like, a super timely issue that kinda just clogs my inbox, it can take me, like, a few days to a week to reply to an email sometimes. So, I definitely see why they are necessary because I have gotten follow-ups where I'm like, "Oh, I would've totally missed this email if I didn't see the follow-up." So, yeah.
Okay, but space it out. And speaking of timing, this is probably more specific. I'll set the scene. Let's say it's like a press release, like a launch, like a time sensitive item. How far ahead of time do you want to be pitched? So, like, if it's launching in 2 weeks, is that way too, like, well, I need at least a month, like, to even like have a chance at getting this featured? Like, what I know it's going to differ, but
Mhm.
if you were to give us an average, do you have a timeline there?
For me, honestly, because I work on so much evergreen content, it kind of doesn't really matter because I don't really cover timely things anyway. So yeah, it kind of it doesn't really matter if that makes sense.
Okay. Well, so
Yeah.
that kind of narrows it in. So
Yeah.
for you, because this is about you, it's more you want evergreen.
Yeah. Yeah.
And do you appreciate when there is an angle idea or two along with the product presentation or no?
Sometimes, but I don't really use those just because I do work a lot. Like, I get a lot of assigned pitches, a lot of assigned posts. So usually when I'm coming up with pitches, I'm trying to come up with it on my own sort of.
Okay. So it's honestly like give you like a really nice overview of the product, what makes it cool, and then your email becomes your own virtual like Google and catalog for you to
Pretty
sift
much.
through. Cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. Very helpful to hear. Whoa, we made it through rapid fire. Well done. You passed. There's no passing. My I have a couple more questions for us. First off is, we're headed again, we kind of already mentioned it's August 15th, but as we head into Q4, maybe even into Q1, are there any specific areas of interests or, you know, things that are lighting you up that you would like to see more of in your inbox?
Um, that it's always hard for me to say because I just work on assignments so much that it's like I'm kind of bound to like whatever my editors are assigning me. I don't know. I Since I've been getting holiday pitches since like June, I'm like over them now and it's like not even September, but I know that they're like necessary to keep getting. I don't really know what I'm looking for. Like, yeah, I'm not sure.
That's totally fine. I think
I'm
it's
always
fair too.
open to
Yeah.
whatever. Yeah.
That's great. Okay. And so, as my routine listeners know, we are to the point where it's the most important question of the entire show. We've talked a heck of a lot about Pitchin. What can we find you sipping? So, what is your favorite beverage? It can be, of any type.
Okay. My answer is probably so boring because I never have anything fun to drink. I don't really drink alcohol that much, but I really love coffee.
Coffee. I'm a
I
coffee
love
girl
like
myself.
a cappuccino or an iced coffee with caramel.
Caramel. Yum. I like coffee too much. I'm trying to like wean back. So, and part of the thing I'm trying, I have my little coffee mug here, but there's water in it because I'm trying to
Oh.
decide, is it even just like the art of holding the mug that I'm loving so
Yeah.
much? So, Fair enough. No, we've had a lot of people even say water on this show. They're like, water. I'm
Yeah.
like, good for you. I need to do more of that.
Yeah, me too.
Um, last question is, where can people connect with you? Where do you want them to connect with you? And where do you not want them to connect with you?
I mean, I am on Instagram and TikTok the most. I do connect with people on Instagram often. I prefer to just get emails. Anything like PR or media related, I prefer to get emails because, like you said, I honestly do use my inbox as like a search for when I'm looking for things. So, yeah, but I do connect with a lot of people on Instagram, which is really helpful.
Okay,
Yeah.
awesome. And that brings us to the end of the show and me drilling 5 million questions at you. I sincerely appreciate you coming on the show today and taking the time to break this all down. Again, I think especially the commerce world, there's just so many questions that I hear floating around, even with publicists like myself who've been in the game for a while. Like things are just changing so much. So
Yeah.
it's
Yeah, and
helpful.
I meet with, like, a lot of publicists where we'll do, like, little chats and, like, Zoom calls and everything, and, it is hard because I really like to pick my products, but it is so dependent on affiliate links for so many outlets.
Let's
So
sigh. No, it's good. I appreciate it. It's a new form of revenue for the world of media. It's
yeah.
a catch-22. I feel for the small brands who where it's harder, yada
Yeah.
yada. That's a whole nother segue. But I appreciate your time. I know you have 2 little ones, so 500 jobs to get back to. So I will let you go and just want to say thank you for taking the time to pitch and sip with us today.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Hey guys, if you are enjoying the Pitchin and Sippin podcast, please do me a huge favor and leave a review wherever you are listening. If you want to connect with me to learn more about the PR Bar Inc., you can do so on Instagram at the @PRBar_Inc., or you can check out my website at theprbarinc.com. Cheers!